gonna say.
Oh, sorry. We can cut this out. This is gonna be another one of our intros. We can cut this out.
It's fine.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Wet Roses Talk.
Hey.
We're turning up. So we definitely just wanted to take what everyone's drinking. We definitely just wanted to take a second to toast up because this is our second episode and we finally launched our first episode. So congratulations, y'all. I'm excited for this. What's up? Hey. So, domestic violence. Let's get into it.
Right. Well, today we're mainly talking about this Zach Stacy story, and then yes, domestic violence in general. But yeah, I don't know. How do we even dive into this story?
I'm just surprised that he's still breathing. In all honesty,
So I guess let's address what happened, because
So apparently they got into they got into a confrontation. From what I saw, they got into a confrontation, and it looks like things kind of just escalated. And here's the thing: we only see so much of the video, so we don't know what they were arguing about. We don't know what the actual issue was between them, but you could tell he was extremely upset, he was angry. I mean, it started when you get angry to a point where you start throwing things or hitting people, or that's another level for someone to bring that out of you. I mean, some people are naturally just have anger issues, but that definitely is a sign of him. He has anger issues, period. You should never put your hands on a woman as a man. Now, I say that also to say that a woman should never put her hands on a man either. Because men get beats all the time. No, seriously. But I feel like they had a confrontation and it just escalated to another level. He got mad. Luckily, she had cameras in what looked like a condo, maybe, or an apartment, or the living room. And he just smacked her up, picked her up and threw her into the TV. And it looked like he wanted to go back to hit her again. But I think once he saw that she was down.
Yeah. The police report said that he had to, when in that moment, he came back to check to make sure she stayed down. He was making sure she stayed on the floor. Because you saw in the video, he was about to walk out the door and turned around to make sure and then he came over and said whatever he said. It said in the police report that she said he came over to see the son and he got jealous about whatever they talked about. He got jealous about something. And then that all happened.
All right, so everybody knows what happened in the last 24 hours with that video going viral of the ex-NFL player who supposedly abused his ex-girlfriend, not really sure of the situation there. So since that went viral, I definitely want to speak on domestic violence, and I feel that it definitely triggered me. I know, Britt, we kind of talked, it triggered you as well. Like I was saying, it triggered both of us. Bree, did that happen to trigger you?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. So I want to speak on it for a lot of different reasons. I don't know if you guys know, but of course you guys don't know, who don't know me. I definitely grew up in a household where there was domestic violence. Before I even get into that, I will apologize to the person who may see this, who may get upset at me. Don't be too mad. You'll get over it. However,
it's like she has no choice.
Yeah, however, it was something that did affect me as a child, and even to this day as a grown woman, it definitely changed how I look at certain things and how I deal with certain things. And then I also want to just talk about it too, because it all happened allegedly in front of their child, which in the video you can see the baby. So, I mean, it's kind of just there that it did. So with that being said, Britt, you have children. How would you feel if something like that happened in front of your children?
Oh my God. Bruh, I mean, well, obviously that situation with this Zach Stacy situation, like even hearing the end of it and hearing that baby cry the moment he threw her into that thing and that baby started crying, that broke me. I was just like, oh my God, because I know that baby saw that shit. And you know that they're 5 months old, so of course they're not going to remember that, but that's still a trauma that can affect their brain and affect them growing up, even though they're 5 months old. And I mean, I guess I'll just talk about my situation, which this would be the first time that I've talked about it, I guess, to any. I haven't told many people about it because, like I said, you know, previously, you don't want to tell too many people about your personal relationship stuff because people judge and stuff and, oh, why are you still with them? Whatever. My boyfriend called the cops on me a year ago for a situation that we had with our child. Our child saw the entire thing. She still brings it up to this day. It breaks my heart when she does. I hate when she brings it up because she'll ask us. She'll say stuff like, Mommy, why did you do this? Or Mommy, why was Daddy holding me? Or why did Nana grab me? And like just different things. Like she remembers the whole thing and she'll bring up different bits and pieces of it at different times. And it's so random. So I'm like, I know my 3-year-old was affected just by us arguing and walking around the house and getting buck in each other's faces and yelling and screaming in front of her, and literally we're holding her in our arms while we're doing this process. He calls the cops on me. I'm holding her outside while the cops are there. So I remember for months afterwards she was saying, Mommy, Daddy called the cops on me. She was thinking he called the cops on her because she wouldn't take a nap, because that's what the whole argument started, was because she wouldn't take a nap. And I popped her like twice, and he was like, you're not going to sit in here and be whooping her all the whole time. I was like, I popped her twice and she's not taking her foot. Like, you're not dealing with the situation. In my mind, I was just like, leave me alone. Like, you're not dealing with this. I'm putting her down for a nap. Get out of my face. And it just escalated completely where it didn't need to go. But yeah, that stuff triggers me because of the fact that I know now that my 3-year-old, who is now 4, still talks about it, still remembers it, still that might affect her at some point. And then for me, I get anxious, I get nervous, I don't bring up arguments anymore, I don't bring up certain topics anymore. I pick and choose my battles with him. Like, I have anxiety about it, anything. I can't, because I'm terrified. I don't want, if you can call the cops on me while I'm pregnant, I mean, so I don't know what you could do. As much as you say now, because I've talked about it recently with him, and as much as he says now, oh, I've never shown you over this last year that I would do that again. I'm like, yeah, you haven't shown it, but you've already done it. So it already affects me. I already can see that happening again. I was terrified being a Black woman, pregnant, cops being called on me by a white man. His mom did nothing to help. She was there and did nothing to help the situation. It was, yeah. So that kind of, so seeing this video was traumatic in itself, because we also grew up with domestic violence in our household.
Yes.
We witnessed and heard things, you know, amongst our parents on both sides, with mom and stepmom. So yeah, this stuff, I don't know. It makes me sad. It breaks my heart for the baby. It breaks my heart for the woman. I don't really care what the argument was or what happened. They shouldn't have led to that point, to see a grown-ass man throw a woman that way. And like, I'm like trying to picture someone doing that to me. Like when it happened, I'm just like, how can somebody pick up a human and just like it's like they're a doll or something? It was just, that shit is crazy to see. So yeah.
But I want to go ahead and let Bree talk a little bit and just kind of say how it affected you, and did it bring up past memories, since she did mention how you guys grew up in that household as well. Does that still trigger you?
Sitting here thinking, I have anxiety right now just talking about this. I'm like jittery and like shaking.
So I would definitely say, the first thing I'm gonna say is, a lot of what kills me about domestic violence is a lot of people are so forgiving to it, especially women. We forgive so easily. Someone will hit us and they're like, I'm so sorry, and we're so forgiving. But I'm like, I live by this theory now. If it happens, it'll happen again. Period. I don't care what it is. I mean, I feel like that. Like, if it happens once, and that goes for domestic violence, it goes for cheating, it goes for lying. If they'll do it one time and you're so quick to forgive it, it will more than likely happen again, at least 90% of the time. You know what I'm saying? That video definitely triggered me in lots of ways. I mean, I've been in a few violent relationships, and I've I won't say no names. And then not only that, sorry to my family as well. When I was younger, I used to take, some people will call whoopings. For me and how I felt, I would call beatings, for the entire group of sisters. And that's one reason I ran away from home, is just because I was tired of the verbal abuse.
When we hear about domestic violence, everybody thinks it is just physical. It's not. It always usually starts emotional, verbal. It's the yelling, it's the words, it's the manipulation, it's the gaslighting. It's all of that starts before they are ever, willing to hit you. And then when before the hitting even starts, something will happen where there's a hole punched in the wall, or, he'll get physical at some point, and then he's going to get physical towards you or she.
Exactly. Now the question is, how did it trigger you?
So for me, like I said, I definitely will apologize, because it triggered me because, again, I grew up like that. And for me, I didn't necessarily see it 24/7 because it was behind doors and it was hidden from the children, supposedly. But what you don't see, you can still hear. Mm-hmm. We're not dumb. As a child, you are not stupid. My mom is not the person to wear a lot of makeup. So when she would come out with makeup on, we only know what you're covering. And you see bruises on your arms, we know where it's coming from. You didn't just run into the door. It didn't happen that way.
I hate that excuse.
I used to hear them arguing late at night. She probably thought I was asleep because it was definitely way past bedtime hours. Probably should have been asleep. But you hear that type of stuff, and you hear them arguing, and you hear her saying, get off my hair or something like that. And you don't get up out the bed to go see what's going on. You just lay there and you listen, because reality is you don't want to go out and trigger something more. So just seeing that really just triggered me in general, because, again, I don't think that any man should ever put their hand on any woman. Just like I also believe that no woman should put their hand on any man, because at the end of the day, as a woman, if you are going to hit a man, you do have to be ready for his reaction, because it is possible
that
will not understand what he's doing and just react to the fact of being hit. And that I can totally understand, because we do not think about that. That is a reaction. However, to sit there and be in an argument with someone and to just abuse them is insane to me. But on another aspect, I'm not going to lie, I really hope that she leaves that relationship is 110% done, because for me, being a woman and watching my mom, hearing my mom go through that type of stuff, I always wondered why she didn't leave. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you leave? And you had kids. Instead of trying to hide it from them, you should have got up and left, because all you did was make me feel like you were too weak to leave. And I know that probably sounds so harsh.
Nah.
That's real, though.
So for me, like I said, I had anger towards both of the people that were involved. I got angry at my mom a little bit, because I just felt like you had the opportunity to leave, and maybe I don't know the whole situation, so I can't really speak on every part of it. But to me, instead of trying to hide that from your children, thinking that you're protecting them, your better option is to get up and leave, because now I'm looking at you like you're weak,
Right.
And
I heard that part, because I had a disagreement to it, but
and again, I'm not saying that this is what it is, but for me, when you are raising a daughter, you want them to be strong, independent women. You don't want them to take no shit. And even to this day, my mom tells me all the time, don't, you deserve better. You don't do this, don't do that. But it's well, when you were hiding this from me, did you not think that I heard any of it? Did you think that I just didn't? And for me, it was well, were you so weak that you couldn't leave?
Right.
And again, I forgave her. It is what it is. For the other person that was involved, I used to hate him with my guts. I got over that for sure, because I realized that was the adult situation, and I wasn't really my place to have any type of judgment, because I can't really say what she should have done or what she could have done when I don't know the situation. I am happy that she left when she did leave. But again, it's definitely one of those things I hope that this lady leaves and doesn't look back, because if not, at some point, even whether she has daughters or just her son, I'm not really sure how many kids she has, but regardless, it's going to affect them in one way or another. Either you got to get up and you got to fucking leave. Like, that's just the end of that. You have
the scarier part is the fact that she has a son now who could turn out to be just like his father, or have anger issues, or have whatever based on that. And then it's like, the fact that she still has to co-parent with this nigga, like, I couldn't even imagine. I would file for full custody. I would file for restraining. Well, she did file for a restraining order for her and her son. But yeah, I mean, this dude's out on, he ran, so he's going to jail regardless. Find him.
I don't put up with anything. Like, to me, I'm one of those people, like, even when we argue, if you can't respect me in the midst of our argument, then we don't need to even be together, because it's going too far. I don't like to be called certain names. I don't care how fucking mad you are. Don't call me these names, just like you don't want me to call you certain things. So when you do it, to me, that's a level of fucking abuse. I don't care if you say, oh, well, I didn't put my hands on you. No, but you're doing something that you know.
You're talking to me crazy right now.
I told you I don't like this. We're supposed to be able to communicate and argue without it getting so disrespectful to the point where I'm feeling like I ain't worth something.
Right.
Like, it should never lead to that.
And
that's emotional abuse.
Yeah.
So the unfortunate thing though with that is the way you feel, the way I feel. You know, we have similar feelings for it, but the unfortunate thing about that is some people can't put their emotions in check like that. They'll take abuse because they feel like that's the only way they can accept. No, seriously, that's the only way they can accept love. That's the only way they can have somebody. Some people are so desperate to be with somebody, they'll just put up with anything and it doesn't matter. It's like, you know what? I'll let this nigga smack me. I'll let him beat me because I love him. He loves me. He don't mean to do it. Or even with women, men will stay with women even though they'd be taught. Like, I talk to men crazy. Like, and I don't be meaning to. And I be letting people know I have a terrible mouth. Sometimes I called a dude a bitch one time, and he said, he said, yo, don't be disrespecting me like that. I was like, well, you acting like a bitch, so you must be a bitch. And it's not me. I have to learn how to control my mouth and what I'm saying. But what I mean to say is this: some people can't control their emotions like that. They can't decide for themselves, or they don't even respect or love themselves enough to know when something's just toxic or bad or even dangerous and deadly. You know what I mean? Like, some relationships are deadly relationships, but they just love so.
I definitely do agree with you. Like, some people don't understand, but that again, some people don't realize, like, you have to love yourself more than you love someone else. Because if you love that other person more, you will allow them to walk all over.
Oh yeah, it's a hard concept to follow, though. Loving yourself enough.
That's kind of why I always say, like, there's two types of people: strong-minded people and weak-minded people. And I'm not saying that because you're weak-minded, you are weak and you cannot become this. It's just because you haven't fully figured out yourself. You haven't fully got to the point where you accept you for 100% of you, where you accept past issues that you may have been dealing with. You just haven't accepted you, and you don't love you enough to be that strong-minded person that you need. You need to have someone else. When you get to the point where you don't need anybody, you don't put up with shit, because you know at the end of the day, you're good with you. You're going to be good. Whether this person is here or gone, you're going to still be good. It'll hurt, but you're going to be good.
Right.
I was going to add to it that, like, a lot of the victims as well have, like, I guess what you call Stockholm syndrome, like, because they get groomed. You don't go into relationships like this. Relationships don't start off niggas hitting you. So
they always start off happy.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
They end up getting groomed into being this way, and then now this is all they know how to be. And they don't know how to get out of it or how to change it and then when kids get involved, you're scared for your kids, you're scared for yourself, so you stay because you're like, you don't want this dude to hurt you and your child while in this moment. And I'm sure they probably think of moments to escape, or how can I get out of this, or what ways should I get out of this? And then, but I mean, like, I'm a dude like him, I'd totally be scared. That dude was huge. But
bruh, he picked her up and threw her. Do you know how strong you have to be to pick enough? And she wasn't a tiny woman. She looked like she had a baby.
With one of his hands, one of her arms, and threw her into a TV like that.
Like I said, my thing with the whole that my only thing with that whole thing is that man is still walking around because I would have beat his ass. On God.
He was not.
It definitely triggers some crazy shit for me because in my mind, I'm going to cut your dick off, shove it down your fucking throat, and while I'm sitting on top of you, cutting open your chest, I'm going to scar out your fucking heart and put it up your ass because you don't deserve me.
I'm gonna tell you right now, similar situation, but I would have been like, oh, I would have played the victim so well. I'd be like, oh baby, please, I'm sorry, just let me make you dinner. I'd have made him the best meal he's ever had. I would have rolled that nigga to sleep because he probably got some good pee-pee. And then after I rolled him to sleep, I'd have just laid over the top to him and just whispered a sweet little song in his ear and just slit his fucking jugular. Just like, shoo.
Right. You gotta wake him up right before it happens. You gotta be like,
oh yeah. Hey baby, breakfast? Shoo. Just I'm telling you, like, and a lot of people, and this was crazy. People will say women are crazy for saying things like this. No, the fuck we're not. If a man that I've never put my hands on puts his hands on me like that, throws me into a toilet in front of my child, oh, you gotta die. You gotta die. You gotta go. I mean, you may not have to die because I'm not one to take no one's life from them. But in my mind, me thinking about it right now, you have to go. You need to be abolished because you're not meant for human society.
I'm not gonna lie. I am capable.
Same.
Nigga that ever talks to me, any nigga that wants to talk to me, bitch. If you raise your hand to me, I am not gonna call nobody. I would never call my brothers. I'm not gonna call the police. I will handle you because I am very much capable of cutting your fucking dick off, and I have no problems doing it.
Honey, saute that bitch in some mushroom.
But maybe that's the two-sided cancer shit in me. I don't know.
Oh no, honey, there's a whole Gemini. There's a whole Gem. So what's everyone's sign? I'm a Gemini, so you already know I'm psychologically unstable.
I'm a Cancer. I'm the sweetest thing ever until you fuck with me, and then I'm just not.
What's crazy?
She's on the cusp of a Leo, though. Where your birthday's at, I feel like you're on a cusp because you have Leo attitude. You have Cancer, but you have Leo attitude too. I feel like
my best friend is a Cancer. My best friend is a Cancer, and he is a Cancer. Anyway, he's a Cancer too. So I have a lot of Cancers around me, a lot of them, and I don't know why. Geminis and Cancers, we sync is for some reason, and it's because Geminis have the crazy psychological, mental, crazy attitude we're 10 people in one person. Like we literally are 10 people in one person. We could be crazy and be your best friend and be your lover and like one human. But what's crazy, what Geminis though, the one thing you get with them is we're some of the most loyal creatures on the planet. Like some of the most loyal. We'll love you to the day you die. And that's always been my problem. Because like I said, I've been in an abusive relationship. I know what it's like for a man to put his hands on me and I had to do, I'm not going to say which boyfriend, but blacked my eye and bust my lip. And I had to go to work like that. I had to cover it up with makeup and go to work. And
I have pictures that I found of that. Like they weren't pictures you sent us. I don't know how I found that photo, but when I found that photo, I was so mad. I was like, oh my God.
A man literally blackened my eye and busted, and it's because I didn't want to be with him no more. I told him I was done with this relationship. I'm tired of you putting your hands on me. I have to go in public like this. People see me and they're looking at me. My eyes fucked up. My lips busted open. And no one knew I was going through that because I didn't tell nobody. I kept it to myself. I didn't want to bring it up. But when you are actually in those situations, I hit his ass back. Don't get it twisted now. I didn't go down without a fight. But the point is this, when you're actually in a situation because I know neither one of you have been through a domestic violence situation. When you're in a situation like that, the only thing you're thinking is, how do I survive in this moment? Because no offense, men can beat you. They can kill you with one blow.
Oh, yeah.
So it's hard to fight back. Like I had to wait for I think this one time happened where, stop it. This one time happened where, I'm not going to explain the whole detail, but anyway, he hit me in the eye. He punched me right in my mouth, and that was probably the picture you saw. And we're walking back to my house because I had to get something for him, and then he could just go on about his merry way. And then I turned, like, while as we were walking to my house, I said, okay, I gotta figure out a way to hit this nigga because he's probably gonna try to hit me again. So as I was putting the key in the door, I turned around and I would just knock him right in his fucking face. He didn't hit me after that. He said, bitch, are you fucking crazy? I was like,
Yes.
You
Yes,
got hit, right? Cool. What do you need from here? Let me get you your shit. Now go. And what hurt, now this is what hurt the most. This is someone I really loved. This is what hurt me the most. And this is where that confusing emotional shit comes in. He came into the house, got what he needed, and then looked at me and said, oh, damn, baby, I'm sorry. Look at your face. Let me help you. I said, if you don't get the fuck out of my house, you crazy ass nigga. Like, at that point in our relationship, I was completely done. I was done. So there was...
kind of people, it's weird because they can actually there's people that can actually, like, you know, switch, like they won't even remember that they physically hurt someone, and then he'll look at you and be like, oh my god, I did that.
Exactly. It scared me because I'm telling you, I'm standing in the bathroom. I was standing in the bathroom crying, like my eye was black, my lip was bleeding. I was just standing. I said, get in it. It was one little tiny object that it was something he didn't even really need. He just wanted to come and get it. And after he did it, he was like, well, he said, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, let me fix you up. I'm like, are you serious right now? I said, if you don't get the fuck out of my house, you crazy person. Like, I hit him in his mouth. And so I'm like, you need to go. Like, I'm done. I'm really done. Like, I'm fed up and I'm done. I'm done with all of this abuse. I'm done with all the negligence, it's just, this is so hard. Like, in the old me from the beginning of our relationship, if that would have happened, I would have been like, okay, baby, like, just come on, let's sit down and talk about it. And that's what a lot of people understand. Like, you'll feel like you love someone so much, and it's because I didn't love myself at all. I did not give a fuck about myself at all. And I can honestly say that I did not love myself. I didn't care how he treated me. I didn't care about who he slept with. I just did not love me enough. Like, I didn't care about my feelings. But in that moment when I told him he had to go, I was like, you know what? I'm fed up with this. I deserve better and more. I do. And a lot of people like, oh no, you just want a man. No, it's not about a man taking care of me. It's not about a man doing for me. I just deserve a better human. I deserve someone who's compassionate and who's honest and who's gonna love me. And if we do get in an argument and we fight, who's gonna walk the fuck away and not put their hands on me. I deserve that. So I'm not putting up with that shit no more. Period. Okay.
See, now I hate to say that Blaine walks away in fights or arguments and stuff because he needs.
There's probably a reason why.
And everybody like needs to take a second, and I'm the person that's like, no, let's squash it right now. I don't walk away but maybe I guess it is good for people to walk away sometimes.
I definitely do feel like people should definitely walk away because that's the problem is people don't realize when you're angry, it's an emotion. You can't control it. So when you get to that type of anger where you don't think about what you're doing, you're not registering the fact that you're hitting someone that you love. You're not really registering that until it's already done. A lot of the times. Now, of course, there are people out here who just enjoy that shit because they want to feel empowered, whatever the case may be. I don't fucking know. You're crazy. Go get some mental help because at the end of the day, you probably need a therapist. But there are people who, when they get that type of like, I'm that type of person. When I get that type of angry, I say a lot of shit I don't really mean, but because you just pissed me off to this level, I'm going to say any and everything to hurt your fucking feelings because I'm not going to hit you. But I guarantee you're going to be hella disrespected before you walk about this fucking door.
Right.
And you're going to.
Right. No, I hear that.
See, and then I'm like complete opposite. Like, I don't say things to hurt people's feelings or anything because you don't want someone to die with that or
fuck your feelings. I strongly believe in fuck your feelings.
I told you, I'm the type of person that likes to just squash it. Let's talk about it and get it out and squash it so we don't have to deal with this anymore. Yeah, I don't know.
But sometimes some people have to walk away. They can't talk about it at that moment because in that moment, that's when I'm going to be disrespectful because I'm so fucking mad. If you give me a minute to calm down, let me think about how I'm going to react to what you just told me, or let me think about how I can say something so it's not as harsh when it comes out.
That's exactly.
That sometimes is the best thing to do. Now, just walking away to avoid a whole argument, no, because at some point you're just pushing it under the rug, and at some point you're going to explode. And
that's what happens in my situation is the walking away doesn't come back and like, hey, I'm good now, let's talk. Like, no, the walking away walks away and then the conversation goes away and then it never comes back. So that's why I have issues with it, because I'm not that type of person. I'm like, let's just talk about it now and squash it now, because I know if you walk off, we're not going to discuss this again. You're just you don't care. You don't probably don't care to talk about it now. So you ain't going to care to talk about it later.
So I have a question. Have you ever been? So I have this tendency to where I get so angry. If I'm yelling or arguing, I'll get so angry to the point where now it used to be to where I want to punch somebody, but now I get so angry to the point where I just start crying.
Yes,
that's how angry I'll get if I start getting especially when I'm trying to voice my opinion to someone and they're not listening to me, or they're silly telling me something that I'm like, bro, like that, but that's not how I'll get so angry to the point where I just start crying. I'm just like, and they're like, you're crazy. I'm like, I'm not crazy. I'm just like, what the, like.
Yeah, I agree with you. I get that to that point too. Like a lot of times when you see me crying, it's not because I'm sad. It's because I'm so pissed off at something, and it's like I can't figure out how to express what I need to say to you. So like everything's just balling up and it comes straight out my eyeballs. I don't know. Call it what you want to call it. Or to the point where you said what?
Did y'all notice that I had anxiety last night talking when I was talking to y'all about the
yes.
Could you tell my anxiety, like in my voice and stuff? Like I started to get shaky, and like my voice started to get shaky because I was like, we're talking about a passionate conversation, but then at the same time, like I don't want to fight with y'all about it. I don't want to argue or like anyone's feelings to be hurt. Like I liked that we talked about it, but I was like, I felt like you and I were like almost gonna have an argument. I was like, God, I don't want her to think I'm.
Oh no, we weren't. See, I'll say this the best before we go off topic real quick. I don't want us to go off topic. I want us to stay where we are. But I will say this, Brittany, I had that same thought. But I was like, you know what? The one thing I like about this group right here is that we can have conversations where it might get a little heated. It might get a little upset, but at the end of the day, we know we're just having a conversation. We're just voicing our opinion. We're trying to understand one another. We're trying to communicate, and it's healthy to have those types of conversations. It's okay. It's actually healthy to have those type of conversations, especially with someone you really care about. You want to know why? Because it just shows it shows growth. It shows maturity. It shows, you know what? We might disagree, but it's something. Honestly, it's actually something that's
as well, because I got y'all's perspective last night versus my perspective, so it gives different perspectives. And
exactly. I don't want you to ever think I'm not, and my mom told me this about you. I don't want you to ever think that I'm not listening to you, because I be hearing one thing about me is I'm a sponge. I hear everything people tell me.
Though, it's just the abuse in general, and even like getting into those type of arguments, you have to know when to walk away. You definitely can't ever let someone get you to that fucking point. And I have definitely been on the cusp of that, because I've had a lot of arguments, but definitely said a lot of things. I also have the horrible trait of just shutting up. When you are yelling, if I'm in a situation and someone's yelling at me, I will shut up and just stare at you so you can feel real fucking stupid. And that pisses people off so much, and it's not the best thing to do, because I have seen it escalate further. But to me, it's just like, okay, well, if you're not going to hear me, then you scream, and I'm just going to stare. So we both can look stupid, because I look stupid staring, and you look dumb yelling. So now we just look like two dumbasses.
I'm dead.
I love that.
Y'all, so because we are... Hey, y'all. So we are kind of running out of time right now. So I wanted to know, is there anything else anyone wants to say about this? Because I want to wrap it up. I do have the domestic hotline number here and website that people can go to. I definitely want to give it out before we get off of here. Is there anything anyone wants to say to close this? Final words.
Just be smart, and at the end of the day, don't ignore the red flags. You gotta pay attention to the red flags. Love yourself more than you love the other person. And pay attention to the fucking red flags, because there's going to be one. You just have to pay attention.
They are much sooner before you get hit. You don't have to get
before you get to that point. Pay attention and know when to leave. You have to leave.
Right. Seek help. Talk to somebody. If you need help, talk to somebody. Reach out to somebody that you might trust, that you think you can trust. Because I know in those situations, it's tough. And she probably is alone. She probably does not tell people that that stuff's happening. most of the time you're not telling people that this stuff's happening because
Not
everyone's
at all.
will leave the situation, but it's not that easy always.
Like,
So,
I didn't even know you had seen a picture of what happened to me. I was like, wait, what?
I still have the photo, yeah, because when I saw it, I was pissed. I saw that and I knew who it was that did it. I was just like, oh my God, I'm disgusted. Like, I lived in their house for a little bit while I was filming that movie. Like, was it happening during that time? Could I have helped? Could I have stopped it? You know, there's just so many things that went through my brain, and to see.
You definitely could have helped, because I was so in love with that person that no one could. The only person that could help me was me and God. That's it. Those are the only two people that could have helped me. I will say this before we get out of here. My final statement, I definitely just want to say, at the end of the day, as someone who's been through domestic abuse, not only just from relationships, but from family too, at the end of the day, it's you definitely gotta just don't be with yourself first. Develop a relationship with you. Develop a relationship, develop a security, develop a happiness within yourself, whatever that takes. And if you can't find that, seek help. Because there are people that have either gone through this or that are going through this, and you know that they're here for us. People are here for you. You know what I mean? And like I know every situation is not easy, and it's not easy to walk away from, because your feelings are involved. You have family, you have kids. Like, there's so many situations where it's just
so many resources. Now there's so many things, so I feel like
there is.
Figure out
The
you could make it known. There was that 16-year-old girl
Right.
that just got found because she was in a car and did this. That means that you have been human trafficked. That symbol, doing that, if you see a kid do it or anybody did that, means that you're with somebody that you're not supposed to be with. And she learned that from TikTok and did it, and someone saved this girl's life because of that.
amazing.
Like, things you can do, there's little things you can leave around. I don't know if you guys know about I think the name is called Code Name Blue. There's gas stations, restaurants, stores that have this. It's a blue sign that says code name whatever, and that means you're safe here. Come here. If anything's happening, you're safe here. Come tell somebody here. So there's tons of places that businesses
I also have
that
something to say, safe place. At my old job at Quick Trip, actually, out there in Atlanta, or anywhere where there's actual Quick Trip, they do have a safe place. So for anyone who is 18 or younger, you can definitely go in there, talk to a manager, and they will call someone to come and pick you up. While they hold you there, they will call someone to come and pick you up. All you got to tell them is that you're looking for a safe place. That's literally all you have to say.
Wow. And then also, if you have issues and you don't want people to know, you just want someone to talk to, or you want someone to kind of help you trigger your mind to do something different or to leave, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, the number is 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-SAFE, and they have a whole website where you can you obviously can't see it because my light's bright, but they have a whole website. You can get on there, you can chat, you can text, you can call, you know, because some people, like I said, some people are too scared to go and ask for help. So if you need to call and just talk to somebody, or if you need to text and just talk to somebody, what do I do, or ask questions, or just I'm scared to do this because I'm scared of what this person might do to me. Understand something. The health and care system in our world is bigger than we actually think. People actually care.
Sure.
It's bigger than we think.
As well, before we leave out, that's why I asked you earlier if you saw that show Made on Netflix. Because
I haven't seen it yet.
Right. The show bases around a girl that leaves an emotional domestic violence situation. She wasn't physically abused. She was emotionally abused. But she leaves the situation, and just the steps that they go through and show in this show there was like 12 different programs she went through to get assistance for childcare, food stamps. I mean, just like, I only know about food stamps, TANF, like certain caps, certain things, but there's apparently like they went through the entire process of what someone would need to do to get away from a situation like that and be by yourself with your child and still be able to help a kid. And it's a great show.
I gotta watch it because I have not seen it yet. I don't be on Netflix too much because they have terrible movie selections, but I will go watch that. No offense, Netflix, please don't cancel us.
They helped her get a job. They put her in housing. They did a lot of different things. Yes, I definitely watched it. Of course, I don't know 100% as to what you would have to do in real life, but obviously they are trying to show and portray the fact that these things are options for those type of people that are going through certain situations like this. So definitely Google, if you don't have access to the internet, ask around, tell somebody the situation, DM somebody, Facebook message, Twitter, whatever the case may be. I'm sure someone can get information for you to help you.
Hit us up. We will help you. Hit us, DM us.
DM us. I'm here.
Absolutely. We all have access to many of things we can definitely figure out. We are all in different states. So there, again, that is major. So definitely.
Oh, Los Angeles, by the way. Los Angeles.
Anna.
I would say where I'm at, but it ain't going to be just not long lived, okay? No, I'm kidding. I'm in Wisconsin, but it's not long lived. I promise. Next year, I'll be somewhere else.
She'll be gone.
Listen, you need it the most. Who knows what's going on in Milwaukee? Who knows?
Y'all, it's always a pleasure. So, to that, hey, good night.
Good night.
Good night.